Hey guys, Adam Perry here with TrueDFS. Bobby Fi is going to be, unfortunately, out this morning. So I'm going to just do the early look myself. It won't have the usual Bobby Fi takes, unfortunately, but I'll do it a little bit more like Sheets where I just kind of trust the projections, go through them, build lineups, and see what we get. And that'll be kind of a way to see what's popping early. The first thing though I want to say before we look at Roth's weather report is to like and subscribe. Keep following our channel. It really helps us out. And check out TrueDFS.com. There's packages available. There's a promo code. If you do finals 2025, all caps, you get a 33% discount. So now is the time to give us a try. I think you're really going to like what you see. I mean, you're going to see here, I use our projections to build lineups using SaberSim. You get all the SaberSim packages, and then you get the pay dirt models that we've been using for DFS and for betting. On top of SaberSim, you get all, Sheets' projections, Goldie's projections, the premium Discord. So there's just a lot being offered, and the price is right. With the promo code, it's cheaper than you pay for SaberSim alone. So check that out, and let's get into it. Let's take a look. There's weather kind of everywhere with the yellows. The one thing we've got to look out for most is Cincinnati. We'll get some clarity as the day goes on. I'm not going to sweat it much right now. The thing I got to say, Lodolo's pitching, who's pretty good for Cincinnati, and like the weather's not super hot yet or anything, but that is always a kind of a home run spot, an offense spot we want to target, especially if you want to pivot off course. So it's definitely something we're going to monitor. Hey, what's up, Andy? Andy, I think, did you have that nice hit on NBA? I think that was you. So good stuff if it was. A big shout out. There was like a 16K takedown for chopping the lotto last night. And if it was a different Andy, shout out to the other Andy. But I think it was you. So nice hit, man. Let's get into it. Let's build some lineups. I won't have the usual color and takes on every game that you get with Bobby doing that, but we'll get an idea again for just how we're going to build lineups. I'm not going to make too many changes. Just going over to Goldie's projections. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to demand only 5-man stacks. I don't see why on a 12-game slate we really want to grade lineups that are not 5-man stacks. I don't really even love the 5 with the one-offs. I'm going to check those off on a 12-game slate and just keep it to the 5-2s and 5-3s. And we're going to build for the flagship on DraftKings. Then we'll build on FanDuel. I have to say, we've been talking about this in Discord a lot. What do you do later on when you're late swapping? I am not going to demand 5-man stacks as the slate starts to shrink and as ownership becomes more known, as a live ownership comes in and live projections come in. Then I'm going to let the builder kind of do its thing and make that decision for me on the 5-mans. But a priori, pre-flop, as they say, I am going to just build 5-mans and go into this slate that way. So if I get some stuff from the early games, then 5-mans it'll be. I'll probably get 5-mans for the later games, but we shall see. Just kind of glancing at it as it builds, SaberSim's got a 7-run average on the Mets, right? I mean, their over-under is probably like over 6.5 at the median, 7 on average. It's scary to fade, but it's a 12-game slate, right? So there's 11 other games that can go off. So if the Mets score 7, 8, 9 runs, you may not need them on this kind of slate. It's not like Coors is the most home run heavy park. So if they score 7, 8, 9, even 10 runs, and another team does as well, or a couple teams, and they do it with home runs, that they're going to beat those Mets. So obviously I like the Mets today. The smaller the contest, the more playable they'll get, and the number of entries in the contest and so on. But I doubt we're going to have a ton of Mets for the flagship, but we will see where we get. We're running this contest simulation right now, and we'll build a 150-man portfolio. I'm a little slow today. Here we go. So we've got simulations run on the flagship GPP. And let's see what our 150 set looks like here. So let's first go to stacks. Pretty spread out, right? We got that Arizona. We're going to have to watch out for the weather. They're our highest exposed, but that's the pivot, right? That's the pivot off Colorado. You get the home run friendly park in Cincinnati. If the weather's right, it's going to make sense. And they have the 5-run total. It ain't bad. If they go off with home runs, pretty good. Then we've got Atlanta, Toronto, the Royals. Those are our only stacks over 10%, right? And then we're pretty spread out. I'm inclined to just take this and run with it. But let's see. We're also going to see on FanDuel what we get to. I want to be pretty spread out, right? I want my portfolio to work across both sites. One of the things, I always say this, so if you see me do these kind of early look shows before, you've heard me say it and you've seen this process and everything. But SaberSim knows you have a portfolio, so it knows you're running 150 lineups, and it could get diversity in there with in your DraftKings portfolio. And when we run this for FanDuel, it's going to know that as well. And it's going to help us get diversity on FanDuel. But what it doesn't know is that you're playing DraftKings and FanDuel, right? So if it's going to give us, 40% Arizona on FanDuel or something, we may want to lower that, right? Because then we're actually increasing our exposure to Arizona across our entire portfolio. Because whether or not the portfolios are separate on the separate sites, our money is not separate. It is one portfolio of lineups. So we don't want to get over leveraged anywhere. And yeah, with that, let's take a look at pitching. Look at all that JP Sears. Now, that is a tough spot. Baltimore, they do have to travel from Seattle, but they have a pretty high total in that bandbox minor league stadium in Oakland. So a little bit scary to get that much JP Sears, but, Baltimore's offense has been struggling. They've got a lot of good lefties in there, but maybe Sears mitigates that. So I don't know that I'm too comfortable playing all this JP Sears. I'm going to just lower that. Let's lower that to the same thing, to the 33.3. So he's not higher than Skubal. And then this is the other one. I mean, I don't like to give too many takes. Now, Senga is playing against like the Nutlow Rockies lineup, but it is in Coors. One thing I'll say about Senga is he's got good stuff plus and good motion and movement on his pitches. Now, I don't know if the thin air mitigates that. Some people say it's harder to throw breaking pitches in Coors, so maybe that mitigates Senga a bit. I assume the projections know that, and it certainly knows that this is the Rockies. So I'm going to be okay with this. I'm not going to change it much, but just to add a little color to this Senga thing, it's something to think about. Then we've got 22% on Ben Brown. Boy, he was awesome in his last start. I guess it wasn't technically a start, but what do you have, like a one-hitter across 7-8 innings after the opener. So we'll see if he keeps that going against Detroit. The total certainly suggests that he may. And then look at the Cubs total. I mean, such a good offense, but Skubal is the top pitcher on this slate, so it makes sense. We're with the field on Skubal. Going to be way over on Sears, with it on Senga, over a little bit on Brown, and right with the field on Schwellenbach. And then give me this Dean Kramer against Oakland. I mean, Oakland also, has that great stadium. Dean Kramer is not great, but they also strike out a lot. So I could see that. Then the spend out at Kyle Hendricks against Seattle. That's a little scary, but okay. We'll take it for now. These are going to be my exposures on DraftKings, and assuming we don't make any changes after we see what we get on FanDuel. So let's go ahead and run the main slate on FanDuel just as we did on DraftKings. See where we're getting to. All right. So min salary, I'm going to just make that a little bit lower because of the softer pricing on FanDuel. I'm going to switch over to Goldie's projections that you get with a TrueDFS subscription. So check that out. Promo code Finals 2025. I think we're the only place with a promo for the NBA Finals. It's going to last through the end of them. You know, we got guys like Andy Griff, who took down 16K last night in the NBA. So, of course, check that out. You can get a SaberSim package for less than you pay for SaberSim, and you get everything else that you get with the TrueDFS subscription. So I highly, highly recommend taking advantage of that. You get access to Discord too. So many guys, Sheets, Bobby Fi, Rhodey giving takes in there. I'm going to take out the 4s with the 4 one-offs and let us build our FanDuel portfolio here. And we'll see. The only thing, you know, I'm gonna tell it is if I get a ton of the Sears, take that down. I don't want to be overexposed on both sites. I don't think I will on the single pitcher site, especially with the softer pricing, but we'll see. And then the Arizona thing, I mean, I don't want to be 28% again on Arizona in 150 lineups, just given how much we got to on DraftKings. I'm going to spread that out, get a nice diverse range in here. So we got it building. Some people ask me, if you're new, well, what are we going to do here? We're going to build these lineups using play-by-play simulations. It does something what's called a Monte Carlo simulation. So it runs, you know, this guy gets a hit. Okay, what's the probability that the next guy gets a hit? What's the probability that this guy may steal? What's the probability of the next batter striking out, and so on? And it simulates the game using probabilities for each player and the various outcomes that a game can have. And it simulates these games 100,000 times. So that's our play-by-play sims. Then we're going to run a contest sim, right? We're going to say, okay, if the other people are playing these lineups at these rates in the flagship on FanDuel, how are our lineups going to perform against them that we just built using those play-by-play sims, right? So there's two kind of layers to this sim stuff, two sims we're running. So that's what we're doing here if you're new to it. So let's go get these sims and see where we're at. All right, let's look at pitching first. Seems we're pretty spread out. Yeah, 9% of the JP Sears in 14 lands. I mean, I'm okay with that. We're still over the field. Let's take it down. Let's just say max 5% on JP Sears, since we're way over the field on DraftKings. We're still going to be over the field because he's coming in at 2%. So let's go with it. We've got the Schwellenbach, the Skubal. Can't complain there. Let's see in our stacks who we're getting to most. Look at the Arizona. Wow. It's demanding we play them. Now we had 28% on DraftKings. So let's limit this to like 25%. I was hoping it'd be a little lower, but it just really likes them right now. Then we've got the Royals against the White Sox. Yeah, I mean, who could complain? You get what in a normal year should be the worst team in baseball if it weren't for the Rockies, who have, I think now they have equal amount of wins as Scotty Scheffler. Good for them. They had less wins than Scotty Scheffler in May and before the other night. So, okay, we'll take some Kansas City here at 28% since we didn't have too much exposure on DraftKings. Let's run with it. So we've got Kansas City, still a lot of Arizona, a lot of Houston. We're going to have to watch the weather here in Cincinnati, see what it looks like as things get closer. One thing you notice, I mean, we've got some Mets, but not a ton of Mets. We don't get to as much of the Kodai Senga here. Not much at all. Let's see. Senga is coming in at 10% ownership. We are half of that. So not too much of the Kodai Senga, but pretty spread out across our portfolios here, other than the Arizona thing. So we'll see as projections get sharper and ownership comes in closer to lock, how that works out. But you've gotten some insights. If you're new to this, this is how we run lineups. How I run them every day. This is close to what Sheets does. And then later we'll have Bobby Fye on here in the afternoon, giving some qualitative takes on these games. He'll also run on SaberSim as well. But yeah, take a look. Check out TrueDFS.com. After you like and subscribe, check out one of these packages. Remember, Finals 2025, all caps, gets you a 33% discount on the SaberSim packages that we just used. We've also got the pay dirt model that we're gonna put some bets in Discord right now from the pay dirt model that's been doing really well. And then we've got Goldie's projections, Sheets' projections for basically every sport in DFS. You cannot go wrong, so check it out. And with that, I wish you good luck on tonight's slate. Let's